I was really thinking about all the new YouTube creators out there, and I really kind of feel bad for the position they're in. And that may include you. It somewhat includes me. I've been around YouTube for quite a while, and I actually created a channel several years ago, but I started a new channel this year. I started a couple of them actually. And starting over and going a different direction, completely different niche, completely different genre, is just like starting over. I mean, I've had some practice with, creating videos, recording, editing, and all that. But I've never done talking head videos before, so this part's been new. I've not really done anything that wasn't scripted before, so that part's new. This video, by the way, isn't scripted, and that's why this channel is called Harvey Off Script. The idea is really not to script anything, to just free flow my thoughts and ideas on various topics. I've got short videos that I'm showing that follow our experiment of using a grow light on a peace lily plant to see if it actually helps it blossom more because AI said it would. We'll see. You can follow those shorts. I post one a week. Uh, and we'll see the progress of the plant. One thing it has done, though, is made the plant a lot healthier. We noticed that. But I digress. That's a whole different topic. But it is on this channel. But what I'd kind of like to talk about today is what new creators go through. And it's not just this year, but it is, in a way, something different with YouTube. Now, if you're starting new in 2026 and you're really not familiar with the platform, then many of the changes that have occurred that you hear numerous content creators complain about really won't apply to you because you didn't live through the changes. You didn't personally experience them. Will those changes impact you? It's kind of like if you just now started buying gas for the first time, for example, and you didn't buy gas before when it was, say, $2 a gallon cheaper, you wouldn't know what cheaper was, so it would still feel normal. So for a lot of people actually starting now, YouTube is normal to what you know. A lot of these videos that are out there, and there's just so many of them, a lot of these videos out there just really paint YouTube as being so doom and gloom. It's really hard to stay positive if you get caught up in all that noise, as they call it. But you don't have to. And here's one thing to work around on that, because it happens to me. You might watch a video on a particular topic, and YouTube picks it up as, oh, you like that topic. Let's send you a whole bunch of that on your feed. No, that's not true. I may have wanted to, seek out, or not even seek out, because seeking out would be like searching for something. You don't even have to search for it necessarily. You just come across something that randomly showed up on your feed, and you're like, oh, let me check that out. And then next thing you know, every other video on your feed is about that topic. And that, to me, that's just part of the noise. YouTube, in its way of trying to be helpful, and I'm not holding this against YouTube itself, because honestly, all social media platforms do this. They try and analyze your thought patterns and determine what you should watch based on one or two samples of interest that you gave. And that's really annoying too. As smart as their systems are supposed to be, as analytical as they're supposed to be, as artificial intelligence driven as they're supposed to be, I don't understand why simply watching one video is enough information for them to determine they need to send you a whole series of videos on that topic. They should recognize your pattern over watching several videos and then determine if they're going to do this at all. At least, do a random or do some kind of a survey of what you watch. And then they're like, okay, he watches 70% automotive repair and 30% cooking. But the last, so then you would mostly get automotive, vehicle, truck, equipment, mechanical, that sort of thing. And maybe you watched one cooking video because somebody had a new way to make a smash burger and you thought you'd check it out. Now 70% of your feed is all about smash burgers. So my point, bringing this back to the conversation, is YouTube is notorious for creating noise. And if that noise wasn't bad enough, the content creators themselves jump on trends and topics. It's insane. And they keep copying the same information. So, and this is part of why YouTube said they're not pushing or they're canceling a lot of channels because of the duplication that's going on. And they're like, with all the videos that get uploaded, they don't need everybody doing the same thing all the time. And I can relate to that too. And I think that's one of the reasons why the more popular videos right now are videos pretty much like this, where people are just talking, where people are expressing general ideas and personal opinions and not feeding into the rest of the noise that's going on YouTube. I mean, it's kind of a refreshing change. And what's going to make the determination of whether or not you stay with that channel or that type of person is how they appeal to you. So, and everybody has a different audience. Honestly, younger people that want more uh, fast-paced, moving things on the video. Older people tend to want something more calm and steady. So that's okay. You do what you do. Yeah, but I really feel we're taking this back to my original thought. I feel bad about people getting caught up in all the noise. And you're a new creator and you're trying to figure out how to make the best thumbnails, how to make the best titles, how to get people to even click on your video so that you have any kind of an opportunity to build, analytics for the video and overall for the channel ultimately. But there's so many videos on how to do that. And I'm not going to get into any tutorials or anything of what I do on, as far as I might reveal in another video what I do, but I'm not going to do it as an instructional thing that you need to do this or you need to do that. The only you need I will put on that is you need to figure out which way will work best for you and your content. And that brings up kind of another point. Is your content is going to be or should be something about what you're about and who you are. So when you learn from people on processes, I would recommend that you try to target YouTube creators that have how to and what to do type videos for new creators and how to apply some of these processes to help your videos be successful. But look for the ones that fit your style, that fit who you are. and try and ignore all the rest. Just scroll right by them. Because if you don't, you're going to try and wrap your mind around a set of processes that don't really apply to you because it's not your style, it's not your thinking, and it'll just add more thought than you need to try and process. There's so much um, to try and learn, especially if you're not, if you don't have previous experience with any kind of video production. And hopefully you have a computer that's new enough and strong enough to run software for editing. So, and I'll make another video on that later because I went through quite an ordeal on how I ended up actually being able to edit my videos. But there's a lot of methods and a lot of ways of doing it. And it is true that you can really literally do it with nothing but your phone. The only thing I would highly recommend uh, when using a cell phone, you can edit and record on your cell phone. Editing is kind of hard unless you have really good vision and really steady hands. I have neither. So I have tried doing editing on my phone, and I do edit short videos sometimes because there's not much to actually do or get technical about. Uh, I won't do a long form video on my phone because there's too much to do and I can't focus good enough visually, and I tend to start shaking. And I try to use, I don't have one on me, but one of those little um, rubber tipped pins, to guide the fine points uh, on the screen. I can't remember what they're called, but it's really difficult for me to do that, and it could be for a lot of people. So in that case, you would need some kind of computer. And it really gets difficult when you're using a laptop or a desktop because you need a computer that can handle the editing software. And that's where the challenge comes in. So I'll do another video to share how I overcame that obstacle. There's so much to do uh, and to learn. The learning curve is so broad with being a content creator. Now, the one thing I would recommend uh, is getting a lavalier mic like this. And sorry, when I touched it, it probably just made a terrible sound. I didn't really mean to do that. But use a lavalier mic like this because, and I got to keep my eye over here. That's the other thing. Don't look here. Look over here where the camera's at. Little tips and tricks about recording, right? Keep your eyes focused on the lens, not on the screen, especially if you're using a forward-facing camera. That's why it's good when you're starting out to use your rear-facing camera so you don't look at yourself on the screen. But for the most part, I don't have that issue because usually I'm talking a point and I'm not trying to demonstrate something like this microphone on my chest. Anyway, use a lavalier mic because a good lavalier mic will also filter out background noise. And so there's like, I can go into a restaurant and I can record in a restaurant and not get the music playing in the background or the sounds of the other people in the restaurant. All that's filtered out by the microphone. The only thing it picks up is my voice, unless there's an extremely loud, sudden noise. And even then, it barely lets it in. It's like, whoops, that one got by me, but it stops it really quick. So I find that these lavalier mics are super good for canceling background noise. At least this one is, and this was a cheap one. It wasn't one of the expensive ones. I think I spent maybe 15, 20 bucks on this, if that. And I've had this microphone for years. I've used it on all my videos. Now, some of my videos, I do have a regular recording mic, a larger microphone with a USB connection. And yes, the audio is much clearer on that microphone. But for 80% of my videos, I would say I use this little microphone. I really like it. It gets a little pitchy sometimes, but that's okay. So I just want to say you can do it with the basic stuff and ignore all the fluff that's out there and stick with me on this channel, and I'll come back and we'll talk some more, and I'll share some more little insights and some other things that we can just go over together. I'd love it if you just left comments about what your experiences are, or if you have any questions. Again, I'm not really trying to create a how-to video, but I do want to empathize with every creator that's trying to get started, to not be discouraged, to try and encourage you to keep going. And that's part of why I talk about eliminating noise, because that really, it's challenging enough to learn how to do YouTube and to overcome the learning curve of producing and editing a video and uploading it, and knowing what settings to do and all that, without having the background garbage in your mind of what all these creators say negatively about the process of being a content creator. It's as negative as you want it to be. But when you allow a lot of negativity into your mind, it's really hard to maintain the positivity. You want to be positive. You want to be driven. It's a time management too. It takes a lot of time to record and edit, to think about the content you want. You know, it requires quite a bit of dedication, unless you just want to throw one-off videos out there about random things. But if you want it to have any kind of leverage or success, you're going to have to put some time and dedication into it. And for that, it requires to have a good state of mind, a consistent, steady, relaxed state of mind. And I know, because like you, uh, I have my moments. There's times I get very frustrated. There's times I get tired. I don't even want to turn on YouTube. I'm so tired of all the stuff on my feed, about, you know, the best way to do this and the best way to do that, and 5 simple rules or 10 simple rules and all this. Try and, whoops, something just fell over. Try, I don't know if the microphone picked that one up. Try and find a, you know, 2 or 3 or 4 good creators that match you, that that cover the different types of talking, topics that you're looking for, and focus on them. Subscribe to their channels. Don't subscribe to anybody else. You'll get enough of variety of stuff in your feed without having 20 subscriptions to different YouTube channels about how to be a content creator. And just try and bring that peace and harmony into your mind. Thanks for coming along. Thanks for listening to me ramble. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you stick around for more. I'm really trying to do this more consistently, and that helps you as well. It does really help to be consistent, even if you're not on the same day and time. If you can at least try and get out 1 video a week, and even if you can mix them up, short and long form. But honestly, if you're trying to monetize, stick with do more long form than short. Focus on long form. Shorts are good for subscribers. They're terrible for views and watch hours. If you're trying to get monetized, in a reasonable amount of time. They do have their place on a long form channel, but you need to focus on creating long videos fairly regularly, and your schedule will determine that. And we'll do another video where we talk about that as well. Sorry, I do digress a lot. I'll work on that. Try to stay on point better in the future. Thank you again for staying along for the ride. Hope you subscribe. Hope you like this video. Have a good day.